Hey y'all. So happy Tuesday. Hey Helena. Gonna give people just a minute to come in and make sure you guys can see me. See me. All right, there we are. Hey Latoria. Thank you. Helena say she ain't took a meds. Lord help us. Thank you, Latoria. But we're gonna give everybody just a few minutes to get in here, y'all. Thank you. I wanted to do something a little different. All right, we got Charlotte in the building, y'all. Project 704. Welcome. Hey, Samuel. Thank you. Hey, Lavon. Hey, everybody. Y'all was just putting some lotion on. That's why I'm doing this. I promise I'm not doing the Birdman hands. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Black Introvert. Hey, y'all. Come on in. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Trying to get some of this. My hands feel slippery. But hopefully everybody is doing well and off to a good start this week. So we're going to talk about some stuff. I see that Donald Trump sent Nancy Pelosi a very scathing letter. As the mainstream media has been alluding. Hey, Valdez. Hey, Deshaun. But thank you, Lavon. Hey, Little Rock. But apparently he sent a scathing letter. So they've sent the impeachment documents to the floor, and so we're just waiting on the vote. I think that's what's going on. Y'all let me know if I'm right, because like I told you, I barely, when they make up their minds what they want to do, I'm gonna go back and kind of filter through the stuff to know what I need to know. But right now I'm just like, and then the crazy part about it is I'm like, the Democrats, they are missing a huge opportunity. Like, they're so blinded by their just hate for this man and this wrath that they have, that I'm like, you are missing the opportunity to hone in on voters and what they actually want. Like, it's just so, it's crazy to me. Like, I don't know. I can't believe it's happening in real time. I'm like, where are y'all? Like, do y'all have strategists? Do y'all have people that tell y'all like how y'all looking in the media? Like, what's really going on? But adorable, deplorable. I might have to use that, Teresa. All right, Teresa from Liberty Town, Maryland. Adorable, deplorable. I might steal that. But I think a lot of people, I know I do, y'all. I really, really have impeachment fatigue. I have impeachment fatigue. I have Russia fatigue. Like, every time I hear the word Russia, I just instantly get like a headache, like right here. They are beating us over the head with it at this point. So, hey, Edward. And you would just think, I am telling y'all, these politicians, the more I pay attention to them, the more I just notice what they're doing. These people are wrapped up in their own world, their own little bubble. They are so disconnected from us in real life. They're so disconnected. It's weird, man. Like, I saw Andrew Yang and his wife on their little tour bus, like dancing to hip hop the other day. I can't remember, like MC Light or something. I don't know. And they're like, And they just look so unnatural and corny and forced to do this. And I'm like, dude, like, y'all just don't get it. Y'all constantly think we want y'all entertaining us. That's not what we're asking for. That's not what we want. That's not what we said. Hey, Tony. And so it's like, when is it gonna, like, and so in my head, the more I pay attention, I'm actually thinking like this is like, I think this is actually what they want. This is what they want because it's what they're doing. I mean, it only makes sense to me. Exactly, Tony, out of touch. They're just so out of touch, and just the constant pandering. I don't know. It's so odd. Like, they treat us like we aren't just regular people. We're just regular people. We don't need all the theatrics and the pandering and the dancing and the trying to sound cool and the, I was smoking marijuana, listening to Tupac, and the, like, speaking in Spanish on stage. Like, exactly, Tony. Tony said we want jobs and security, not someone to dance for us. Exactly. And so it's like, who is talking to y'all? Like, every good company, marketing campaign, whoever, you always want to have somebody on your team that has their ears to the streets. If you notice, hip-hop artists, these rappers that are able to stay in the game for really, really long, think of people like Kanye West, and he's really known for this, particularly before he went like gospel. But who's somebody else that I could think of? Like Nicki Minaj and all this. Do y'all always notice that they always like kind of stay around young people, or they kind of stay around the new people kind of coming in to kind of just hear their thoughts, see what people are talking about and things like this? If you look at companies, very successful companies like Apple, John Deere, who else? Why is Mac on the tip of my tongue? I already said Apple. Somebody else I'm trying to think of. Apple and somebody else, y'all. But these companies, right? They keep fresh faces. They are very inviting of new ideas. They kind of figure out what people want. They're very attentive. We call it keeping your ears to the street. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is, because you have to know what the people want. You have to know. And the thing is, some people might say, well, oh, the younger generation is not necessarily right, or what they want, or blah, blah, blah. But y'all have to realize that it's literally marketing. It's all packaging. That's all it is. You can literally take people's rights away by the way you frame conversations, and they not even know it, right? So this is why I always relate stuff back to like my life, what people can relate to and stuff like that, because I did this video. If y'all have not seen it, check it out. I did the video the other day of where in Virginia, they are going in with these red flag laws. They are going in with basically, if the police are not enforcing these gun control laws, they're talking about sending a freaking National Guard. And my thing is, if you are in a neighborhood, in a hood where police are picking at you, where you feel like they're over policing you, this and the other, who the heck you think they're going to come first with these red flag laws? Who do you think they're going to try to remove weapons from first? Right? So if you frame it like that, and people are already complaining about police brutality, people are already complaining about police overreach, militarized police, when you frame it and package it like that, you give people something new to think about. You give them a new way, a fresh way to look at it. It's all packaging, man. It's all packaging. And so ultimately, we all want the same things. We want jobs. We want to feel safe. We don't want to be screwed out of our money by these companies and the health system and the freaking government. Like, we have way more in common than people like to believe. I'm telling y'all. And there is a marketing problem. There is a communication problem. And people are arguing with each other, going and back and forth with each other without addressing the meat and the bones. And so I noticed somebody's comment yesterday, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad that you are addressing things that's actually happening on the ground and not, so focused on this impeachment." And that's something I told y'all, like, that was my goal from the very beginning, like, for my channel. And I'm going to try to stay consistent with that as possible, leaving my channel, hopefully at least like 70 to 80%, like, what actually freaking matters. You know what I mean? Like, I'll get on my live and we'll talk about like Lizzo butt cheeks or something like that. You know what I mean? But ultimately, I try to make y'all aware of what is really going on around you, because what happens is that while they're doing all the theatrics, we are the ones affected. We are the ones being hit by this stuff. We're the ones living real lives where they literally have the privilege, right, to sit there and watch golf as the impeachment hearings are happening on our taxpayer dime. We don't have that privilege. So all this is happening in real time. And I just be wanting to make people aware, like, while they're distracting you with Trump's tweets, okay, they are freaking injecting these kids with hormones. They're messing with our foods. They are putting stuff in the sky. They're trying to take our freedom of speech. They're trying to take your guns and everything else. And I feel like if you package it right and help people understand why these things are important, it'll make all the difference. So for y'all that's like me, when you're talking to your friends and you hear them bring up stuff, y'all will be nothing. The crazy part about it is, and y'all, I went off on a tangent. I've completely gone off from where I was gonna go, but I'm just gonna keep on going because y'all ain't saying anything yet. But nothing I come on this channel and say is like super far-fetched and wild. I particularly even more so keep it a little tamed because of YouTube and their rules and this and the other. Like, people around me ultimately agree with me. Like, I'm not saying anything super radical. You know what I mean? But the media and a certain sector of the culture is trying to move us so far where a little old me starts to sound freaking radical. And honestly, I mean, I don't think I am. But that's why we have to talk about things in a common sense way. People always commend me because they're like, "Oh, you have just a common sense channel. I love how you break stuff down and how you just present things." And that's because that's what people relate to, and that's what people can understand and respect. And so I feel like if we are doing that going into 2020, I feel like a lot of these things can fix themselves, but that's not going to happen when people are doing this. And I'm not really a debater. Let me tell y'all this good story. As a matter of fact, while I'm talking about this, I'm so off topic. We're gonna get to all the other stuff. Thank you, Oliver. Oliver said, "Thanks for covering these topics." Thanks so much, Oliver. But I'm not really like a debater. I don't really like confrontation. Like, I really don't. I don't like to argue with people. I'm actually just kind of like a really chill person. Like, I have my opinions and I will express them, but I just don't like combativeness. So I more so talk to people and kind of see where their head is head is at, right? So this is a pretty good story. So I was actually doing some volunteer work with a group of people. We were doing like recycling type stuff, and it was this young girl. Not girl, young woman. I think she was probably around the same age as me, if I'm not mistaken. And she was just talking about like, Trump and this and the other. And she was like, man, this country is so messed up, blah, blah, blah. She was like, if I was in office, I would make sure people can get an education. Then she said, I'll make sure people can't get these guns and stuff like this. People can't have guns. And so I just politely asked her, I was like, oh, so if you was president, you would just, take people guns or whatever? And she was like, yeah, because it's just not safe out here. It's just not safe. And I said, how would you manage to do that? Like, how would you, if you were president, how would you implement it? She was like, I don't know. I guess I didn't think that far. I said, well, would you send the police? Would you send the police to knock on people's door? I said, think about, some of the neighborhoods in this area. How would you do it? Would you send the police? Would you send the military? How are you going to get these guns away from people? And you know how some people already feel about the police. Oh, man, you're right. Well, how could I do that or whatever? I said, so what's the like real problem? Like, what do you, what is your hang up about people having them? And she was like, well, for example, she was like, I just feel like it's dangerous. And she said, I used to actually work as a guard at like a prison or something. So she's firearm trained. And she was like, but what I really don't like is, my son. She's like, I'm married now. She was like, but my son is with his dad, and his dad is, kind of just, the life he's living, and, he has a gun and he has it around my son and this and the other. And I just don't like it. I just don't like him having a gun around my son. I said, does your son know anything about guns? No. I just don't want him around that type of life. I just don't. I said, so let me get this straight. Your son is around guns. You don't like it. He doesn't know anything about guns, but you haven't taken any steps to educate him. I said, do you have any concerns about that? I said, do you feel like he will be a little safer if you taught him gun safety? Possibly how to use a gun, and if not even teaching him per se how to use a firearm, teaching him like the do's and don'ts, like don't play with a gun, things like that. Like, have you had any type of conversations? Because kids are naturally curious. And so honestly, if something is to happen, that's negligence on your part because you never took the chance to educate your son. I said, wouldn't you feel a lot safer knowing he's with his dad, but he is prepared? He has the keys to handle the situation when he's near a firearm. I just never thought about that. I just never thought about any of these. You're so right. You know what? I'm going to think about this more. That's real good. I enjoy talking to you because I never thought about it that way. Do y'all see what I'm saying? I didn't go in, oh man, you're stupid, you're a snowflake, it's no way they'll get guns off the streets and criminals will still get guns and you don't know what you're talking about and you're a beta and you know what I mean? Like, and all that other stuff I be seeing y'all say online. It's concepts, man. You have to help people conceptualize things, right? Because first, I put the story in her neighborhood, right? Like, do you really, like, how do you think that's going to turn out if you just got police pulling up, knocking on people's doors like, look, let us have your guns. So that's first. I brought it home. Second, I really brought it home with her own situation, her own child, because it's like, dang, let me prepare my child, right? That's one of the biggest things I talk about is us having the keys to change our own situations, right? Much quicker than a politician can. Because, you know, let's say if that little boy is in a bad environment, and even if the police try to come take guns and he's in that bad environment, he's still in that bad environment. Like, do y'all kind of get what I'm saying? Thank you, Latoya. Latoya said, singing, help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. Latoya, I wish I had $1.99 for every time I heard that, okay? But thank you. But yeah, y'all. So, like I'm telling y'all, this is a cakewalk most times. It's a freaking cakewalk. It's all about how you present things. And ultimately, I'm telling y'all, we have a way more lot in common than we probably, that we don't have in common. So I don't know how I just went off on that little tangent, and y'all just let me. Y'all just be here, not just be talking. But yeah, but let's work on that. Going into 30-30. Lord, I just said 30-30. Why the heck I do that? 2020. Hey, Andre, thank you. Let's see. Okay. So, all right, y'all. Thank you, Roland. But yeah, VA is going ham. They're going crazy over there. Hey, Cajun, I missed you last week, Cajun. Thank you, Hot Retarded Chick. But yeah, if y'all haven't checked out that video, definitely make sure you check that out. I told y'all they always put their freaking toe in the water, see how warm it is, see how people are going to react, if they're going to get any pushback and things like this. All right. So I noticed Cajun and Helena over here talking about the call-in show for 2020. So as most of you know, I have started a Patreon, okay? I have started a Patreon. Some of y'all hit me up and y'all were like, oh, I really want to support you. Do you have any more options under the $5 option? So what I did go in and add a $2 option, y'all. $2 a month, okay? You spend that on a bag of chips. You spend that on a soda. $2 a month over at Patreon help me to continue building my platform. I do have different tiers from $2 up to $20 that y'all can go and read more, okay? I am going to tweak this just a little bit since I did go in and add that $2 tier. But what I'm trying to do in 2020, go into having a call-in show added to this Tuesday live. It's gonna be called Hey Y'all Tuesdays. So I'm super excited about that. That'll help me get the equipment and the applications, all that, to have a very seamless, really nice sounding call-in show. Also, I'm going to be going into doing I want to do like some merchandise type stuff going into 2020. Yeah, I have a lot of ideas. Like, y'all really don't know how creative I am. Y'all have not seen that side of me yet. So 2020, like, I'm hitting the ground running. I'm really trying to get some of this stuff popping in 2020. So hopefully y'all can help me do that. I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, over on Patreon, I'm going to be posting more, so you'll get exclusive content. Like on there right now, I have videos of the other day of me shooting at the range. I have videos where I'm talking about other topics, kind of a little bit beyond what I talk about on YouTube, well, on here. So you'll definitely just get like more topics and stuff like that. So I'm going to be posting more over there. So, you know, want to support me, please become a patron. I'm going to continue building my channel. Let's see how far we are from 9,000 now. Thank y'all to everybody who's been sharing my link. We are getting closer and closer to 9,000. We are about, I can't even think. We are 73 people away from 9,000 subs, y'all. So y'all know I've been pushing. If you've been rocking with me for a while, you know YouTube has been giving me a hella hard time, but it's okay. We making moves. We moving around it, whatever. So y'all make sure y'all go over there. Subscribe to me on Patreon between $2 to $20 a month. Hey, Gab. While I'm talking about this, hold on. While I'm talking about this, let me give a shout out to Valdez. He is my first VIP patron. So he is really helping support. Y'all think I can call it a movement now? I'm gonna call it a little movement. Okay, we're gonna say that. But thank you so much, Valdez. Like I said, he's my first VIP patron at $20 a month. So I really, really appreciate that. He's been like super duper duper. And I think he was in here earlier. I don't know if he's still in here. But Valdez has been super duper supportive of my channel, along with the rest of you guys and everybody else that has become a patron. So thank y'all so freaking much. Okay. All right. So that's that. So we're going to keep this thing moving. Because like I said, I went off on a little tangent earlier. The RhondaMary movement. Okay. But so I don't know if y'all heard, I have been talking about YouTube a little bit. And let me just show y'all this. And I'm just briefly going to mention this. But where is it? I'll just tell y'all because I don't even see it now. But YouTube literally admitted on their blog. They was like, look, updating our harassment policy. They admitted to bringing all the authoritative news. This is the terminology they use. Authoritative news. It's all about packaging, right? Like I talked about earlier. Oh, here it is. I'll read this real quick. But they was like, yes, screw y'all. Little YouTubers. We moving Fox News, MSNBC, auto to the top. They said over the last several years, we have worked to improve the way we manage content on YouTube by quickly removing it when it violates our community guidelines, reducing the spread of borderline content. They use these really elusive terms, raising up authoritative voices when people are looking for breaking news and information and rewarding trusted creators and artists that make YouTube a special place. Today, we are announcing a series of policy and product changes that update how we tackle harassment on YouTube. We systematically review all of our policies to make sure the line between what we remove and what we allow is drawn in the right place, and recognized earlier this year for that harassment that there is more we can do to protect our creators and community. And so they basically telling y'all, like, we are propping up Fox News, we are propping up CNN, we are propping up MSNBC. Like, they're telling you this out of their own mouth. So going forward, there's no more questions about, oh, I think YouTube is shadow banning me. I think, they're not giving me the same access to viewers. I think no. It's no more think. We can nip it in the bud. It's happening. It's happening in real time. They've admitted to it. So that's why it's super important to support the small YouTubers and the people that y'all rock with and support. But all right, y'all, let me do my little thing now, because I'm getting fancy over here. Hold on. I'm about to be like Gab in a minute. Oh, look at you, girl. She done got her hair done and got a little banner. Y'all can't tell me nothing up in here. I done already started on my 2020 goals. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling y'all right now, okay? But all right, y'all. So, New York and New Jersey, they are like, you know what? We've been trying to do this for a while, but we're just going to go ahead and get, this whole driver license thing popping with the illegal immigrants. They're trying to make it a safety thing, right? But, there's levels of safety. There's different aspects of safety. Safety is not just one thing. Safety is not just driving. It's a lot of things. So yeah, let's take a look at this. So it started in New Jersey. New Jersey legislators okay licenses for undocumented immigrants. Send bill to Governor Phil Murphy. The New Jersey Assembly and Senate passed the bill in separate votes on Monday afternoon, sending the bill to Governor Phil Murphy, who has already said he will sign it. Supporters who claim seats in each chamber's public viewing area and filled at least one other viewing room erupted with cheers of, I don't know how to say that, from Spanish speakers in a room. I'm not going to butcher it. Yes, we could, after the legislature passed the bill. Rodriguez couldn't remember the number of times she come to Trenton in the last 2 years, the number of times she skipped sleep to show her support for the bill. We want our representatives to know that we are here. The people are present, that we need it, she said in Spanish. They had to tell her she said it in Spanish, of course, right? It makes sense. With Rosa Lopez of the advocacy group Make the Road New Jersey translating. It doesn't matter our immigration status. We still have the right to a life with dignity and respect. Just like anybody else, we work here and we pay taxes. The bill creates 2 types of licenses, okay? One compliant with the federal Real ID rules that allows people to access federal buildings and to board planes, and a standard state license that can be used only for identification in driving, okay? So this second type of ID, the standard state license for identification in driving, is the one that they're going to be getting. While opponents raised concern that the bill would lead to voter fraud, advocates portrayed it as a public safety measure that would allow people who are driving illegally to get licenses and get car insurance. It brings us one step closer to ensuring all motor vehicles and drivers are insured, thereby creating safer roadways for all New Jersey residents. Okay, so that happened. And then New York State followed suit. New York State allows illegal aliens to get driver's license. Illegal aliens in New York State are now able to obtain a driver license. The Green Light Law, which was signed in June by Democrat New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and went into effect last weekend. Although the law was challenged in a court, a federal judge denied the challenge and also reported there are other legal challenges. So y'all see them. They've been celebrating all over. They have these really long lines wrapped around the corners where people are wrapping around to get these licenses. Some took to social media to criticize the law and highlight the double standard, stressing the actions they personally took to obtain a driver's license. So this is what's happening, y'all. This is what's happening in real time. Hey, Pilu. Illegal immigrants are now able to get identification and driver licenses. Like, am I crazy, or are they being rewarded for breaking the law? How is giving illegal immigrants driver licenses kind of like not a when you make somebody want to do something more? I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Maybe y'all can help me out. But literally, it makes it more enticing, more appealing. Oh, they're giving out driver licenses now. They're being rewarded for breaking the law. When other groups of people being rewarded for breaking the law? Yes, thank you, Matt. They're being incentivized to come to places like New York and LA. And then these particular states do everything they can to basically go against what the what's in the Constitution. They do everything they can to go against the federal government. Okay, fine. States' rights is your states. But then these states, particularly California, you are so freaking dependent on the government. You never have any money. Your homeless population is off the charts, even though you put billions into your homeless population. Where is the money? People can barely afford to live in places like New York, but y'all have the funds and y'all have the capacity to incentivize illegal immigration. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, when are we going to start? Don't get me started. When we're going to start incentivizing citizens being in the same marijuana business that these states are now making millions of dollars off now? What about that? Since we just ran here incentivizing people for breaking laws, I'm just saying. We talking about human rights, dignity, and decency. I mean, commerce, is that not a human right? Like who's making these rules? This is according to your news. The police had some concerns, basically, about this green light bill. So this says this will protect criminals at the expense of the safety and security of law-abiding New York residents, a DHS spokesman said in a statement Monday. Besides giving driver licenses to hundreds of thousands of people who broke our laws and have come to our country illegally, the New York law also blocks DHS law enforcement officers who investigate crimes like child exploitation, human trafficking, terrorism, the targeting of gang members, sex offenders, and drug smuggling from accessing important public records. Accessing this information is vital to building out these criminal cases, identifying criminal suspects, and enhancing officer safety. A spokeswoman for the New York Department of Motor Vehicles confirmed that the state won't share data with ICE under the new law. So even if, this is New York telling you, we're going to set up an identification system. Oh, but you can't identify people. This is what they're saying. Only identify them to drive. But if it comes to identifying residents, American people born in this country, if it comes to keeping them safe, knowing who the heck is in their neighborhood, down the streets, y'all are already identifying the people. Like what's the problem? Under the green light law, no DMV data of any kind can be shared with an agency that primarily enforces immigration law, which means ICE, Customs and Border Protections, and Citizenship and Immigration Services do not have access to data unless the DMV is prevented with valid judge-signed court order subpoena or judicial warrant. Then if that's the case, y'all need to stop running people's IDs altogether. Because how is that fair? So you telling me that a police officer, if that police officer runs my license, they can see all my previous history, everything about me, my criminal activity, right? But if it's an illegal immigrant, not so much. Not so much. If it's attached to ICE, which is in place to directly deal with illegal immigrants, no access. Not having it. Like, how does this make sense to anybody? Helena said if they are illegal and pay taxes, they have to steal a social security number to do so. Absolutely. Unless, and see, this is what people try to do because they'll try to conflate the two, right? If they are paying income taxes, they have to have their social security number to pay into their system. Otherwise, you're just talking about little regular sales tax. And who cares about that? I'll pay sales tax all freaking day, every day, if I had the opportunity not to pay income tax. Like, come on. Oh, they don't pay. I mean, they pay taxes. You talking about that little 5 to 7 cent, 9 cent that everybody else is paying, that of course you're going to pay if you're here. But many of them, and I think they said like New York had, this told me how many immigrants, illegal immigrants that they have. But this is the overall point I'm making to y'all. These politicians can get done what the heck they want to get done. They can work on the behalf of the people that they want to freaking work on the behalf of. Don't ever think otherwise. So when they put people before people born in America, to me, that sends a bad message, because anytime I talk about something, anytime Black people bring up something, anytime all these other groups, it's, oh, we'll have a discussion. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the history of this in this country. Like, what you mean? What more discussion we need? Y'all always seem to get stuff passed when it comes to this or y'all agenda. I mean, that's just literally what it is. That's just literally what it comes down to. So you have a group of people being rewarded for breaking the law. Like, it's no other way I can word that. That is the honest truth. There's the honest truth. And think about this, right? Think about this. If I'm a criminal in if I'm a criminal and I'm living south of the border, and I hear that New York, not only do more people have more money in New York, I can go there, I can get a job, I can get a driver's license. Hey, Kanisha, I can get a job, I can get a driver's license, I could possibly get health care, like all these other things. These people, like, would you not make that trip? You're being handed this on a silver platter. Like, I mean, so just, let's just make it make sense. But thank you, Kanisha. But like, so I've told y'all every single thing. People be like, oh, that can't happen here. That'll never happen in America. Blase, blase. Well, it's happening, okay? Look at Virginia. Look at California. Look at New York. They're doing everything to strip you of your rights while extending rights to people that's not even born here. Like, it's straight up madness, and it's literally happening right in front of our eyes. And people are just like, oh. Hey, the whiz boy. But so thank you, Valdez. Valdez said Democrats are equal. You can break the law. You can choose your gender. Man, stuff just getting weird around here, y'all. Like, it's just a lot of weirdness going on. And I'm telling y'all, if you make people just see and just plain common sense type terminology, it doesn't make sense. Like, what's happening doesn't make sense. I saw Kanisha. I saw you talking about that on Twitter today. Kanisha said, I was just talking about how immigrants at my college barely speak English. It was hard for me to understand her. It's not fair how they get to come over here and get a great job and they don't have to speak English. I mean, and my thing about that is that like, I was particularly affected by that because I was considering moving to Texas, and a lot of the jobs literally that I was applying for, you have to speak Spanish. And so we are being pushed out. Middle class people are being pushed out in so many ways, y'all. Like, it's ridiculous. And people have to think about this, and we have to be forward thinking. That's why I say, if you do have the opportunity for your child to learn another language, y'all do so. They have these online programs. You can sit them in front of YouTube. They had a little cartoons they can watch to learn Spanish. You can sign them up for these different apps where they can have teachers work with them. You can hire a nanny that speaks these different languages, because I'm all about, they're screwing us over. So we have to move around. We have to find ways to be forward thinking so we can at least try to divert some of this. So I recommend, if you can have your child learning different languages, it's going to put your child ahead of the game, y'all. We have to start thinking about ways to elevate and kind of move around some of these things that's being put in place, done specifically to block us, to hinder us. That's what's happening. They're doing everything they can to knock us out. I mean, that's just what it is. So reflect on that, move around, cause yeah, like it was several jobs. Must speak Spanish, must speak Spanish, must speak Spanish as a second language. I'm like, and I saw online not long ago this older black lady, and I forgot what profession she was in, and she literally ended up moving her job because the area she was in, it was so many Spanish speakers moving to that area, and they wanted more Spanish speakers. So she lost her job after being there for like years and years. So it's happening in real time, y'all. But the thing is, the media is never going to tell you these stories. They're never going to tell you these stories. I know it's somebody out there right now watching, and they're probably like, this girl don't know what she's talking about. She's just making up stuff. That's just one example. Blase, blase. The media does not tell y'all these stories because they do not fit the freaking narrative. When's the last time you watched the news? And I'm just keeping it real. When's the last time you watched the news and you saw where an illegal immigrant committed a murder? I mean, just think about it really. But you just think like no illegal immigrants commit murder. I'm not saying all of them do. I'm not saying that, y'all know that. But I'm saying, do you think it doesn't happen? Or do you think the media never talks about it because it does not fit their agenda? All right. It would be very contradicting, and they can't have that. They can't have that. Even how they present a lot of different stories in the media. I don't even know where to start, but y'all know what I mean. So the media does that all the time to put certain communities and certain lights and, this and the other. So I don't think it's, not happening out here. I've previously just mentioned stories kind of just along with stuff I would just be generally talking about. That's not particularly the type of stuff I cover on my channel, but it's happening. It's happening in real time, but the media is not going to tell you that. The media is not going to tell you that. All right, y'all. So let's talk about Hallmark. Let's talk about Hallmark. So Hallmark came under fire. Hallmark is supposed to be kind of like this very family channel, just this very cookie cutter, very just family. When I think about Hallmark, I think about like the holiday, the cheesy Christmas movies, the very like Christian like movies, just no cursing, no nudity, no, just very cookie cutter. Well, they recently came under fire because of this particular commercial that they had removed. They showed this lesbian couple. So let's take a look at this real quick, and we'll talk about it. All right, so CBSNews.com. Hallmark says it will reinstate TV ads featuring same-sex couple after outcry. Let's see if this will play real quick without playing an ad. Let's see.
Public backlash. Okay. The Hallmark Channel is reversing its controversial decision to pull ads featuring a lesbian couple kissing at the altar. Now, the ads were for Zola. That's a wedding planning website. The CEO of Hallmark is now apologizing and says the company is, quote, committed to diversity and inclusion. Nikki Batiste is following this story. Good morning to you, Nikki. So a lot of people have a lot of questions. Why did they pull the ads in the first place?
Gail, good morning. Well, Hallmark said initially it removed the ads after they were, quote, deemed controversial. The move came after a conservative group complained to the network's parent company that the ads were not family friendly.
I, Taylor, would pick Zola to have and to host our wedding website.
A commercial meant to show a celebration of love.
We do. I do.
Became the center of controversy after Hallmark blocked it from airing on its channel. The network removed 4 ads from wedding planning website Zola that featured lesbian brides after the conservative group 1 Million Moms campaigned to have them removed.
I, Eleanor.
2 Zola ads featuring only heterosexual couples were allowed to air. Notable LGBTQ figures immediately weighed in. On Twitter, Ellen DeGeneres wrote, "Isn't it almost 2020? What are you thinking?" Democratic presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg tweeted, "Being family friendly means honoring love, not censoring difference."
They know how to celebrate Christmas.
The Hallmark Channel is in the middle of its heavily watched holiday programming.
I think tonight was a success.
Since its season launch on October 25th, the network says it's reached 50 million total viewers.
Hallmark Channel in the past had not done that before. They've been very inclusive and diverse with their programming.
Sarah Kate Ellis, president and CEO of the LGBTQ advocacy group GLAAD, says Hallmark bowed to the pressure from 1 million moms without doing research on the group.
They're an anti-LGBT group that only targets television and film and commercial.
So y'all get where this going. So the Hallmark Channel on Sunday moved to reinstate ads featuring a same-sex couple that had been removed from the cable network. The decision came after considerable backlash over the initial decision to stop airing the ads from the wedding planning company Zola. So Hallmark will now be working with GLAAD, Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, to better represent the LGBT community across our portfolio of brands. The statement continued. The Hallmark Channel will be reaching out to Zola to reestablish our partnership and reinstate the commercials. Stop sharing. We are living in really odd times. We are in the state of cancel culture. That's where we are. Cancel culture is ruining everything it touches. And it even has these companies so freaking confused that immediately they renege on their decisions. They're shifty. They're flip-flopping. They don't know which need they want to bend to who or what they really want to do. I just find it odd that such a small sector of the population is able to control so much when it comes to media entertainment. Just statistically, I don't know. I just think about all the groups of people that we don't see in the media or we don't see heavily, right? Like Asian people, Indian people, a bigger representation of Muslim people, handicapped people, people with Down syndrome. Like thinking statistically, right? Like if this is really, like y'all follow me, if this is really a representation thing, if this is really a representation thing, why is the representation always so skewed to, like, that's what I see. That's what I see. From how I talked about this in one of my most recent videos, how transgender men, black men, have somehow become the face of the LGBT movement. Out of all those letters, you're telling me that, like that's who makes up the movement? Like, when I see things, even I talk about, black entertainment all the time and these stereotypes that they push, right? The bumbling idiot man, or the man that can't provide for his woman, or the black woman, she's super tough and rough around the edges and independent and really nasty and jumping across tables and throwing drinks, and they're never like all these stereotypes. And I'm like, when I start to see the same thing so much, and the representation that I'm seeing does not kind of match what I'm seeing in real life, to me, it's like, what's really going on? What's really going on? At this point, like, y'all, when I say I don't watch TV, like, I'm just so unimpressed. I cannot get my mind to be entertained with such foolishness anymore. Like, it's literally hard to make myself get into TV because it's just so, it's rare that you come across something that is just good TV. Everything is so much propaganda. This really weird thing to me about Hallmark. I mean, I imagine, these TV channels can do whatever they want to do. But my thing is, now it has me wondering if cancel culture can get these channels, these networks to flip-flop. I'm wondering how long before we see the actual Christian channel like TBN, or we see Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network or any other just Christian channels having to be inclusive. The cartoons are already doing it on some levels. Like, my best friend was telling me, she was like, with her son, she literally has to sit there and be aware of what he's watching. And do you know how draining that is? And do you know how they are banking on the fact that most parents do not have the time? Y'all, all of this is crazy, because the more I talk about it, all of this has been put in place like this. They know that the average parent does not have the time to police what their kids are watching, are listening to. This is why you have so many children that are susceptible to the culture. This is what's happening. You have all these moms that's working now. You have a lot of single moms. You have people that can't make ends meet. People are working several jobs. It can be very hard to constantly monitor what your children are doing. The crackdown on porn on some of these social media sites, I think, is a really good thing. on the ones where just everybody has access to, because everything is easily accessible. They are these freaking weirdos in Hollywood are mixing very sexual imagery into these movies. Like, I'm sure y'all have seen, we've all seen the movies, the kids movies and stuff like that have like sexual or adult like references or innuendos and things like that. But it's getting worse. And then to top it off, we now live in a culture where everybody's so free. Oh, your kid seeing Lizzo's booty ain't gonna hurt. That don't hurt. Kids have seen booties before. It's not about that. It's about a level of decorum, because when everything goes, everything goes. You have no sense of anything anymore. It's no lines drawn in the sand. People are just whatever. They want to let their kids be free. They want to let their kids make adult body decisions. Hey, I'm doing a live right now. I'll call you back. Bye. They want to let their kids, oh sorry. They want to let their kids make these adult decisions. Look, when I was growing up, my parents did not pierce my ears, okay? Fun fact about me. When I was growing up, my parents did not pierce my ears. It wasn't something they wanted to do. They felt like if there was something I wanted to do, it should be my decision. They were not going to put holes into my body. I come from a very traditional religious family, whatever you want to call it. I couldn't just walk up nowhere and be like, my body, my choice. And people didn't care, even if I felt like it's my body. I want to do this. I know I really want. Nobody gave a crap. And you might say, oh, that's frivolous. That's not the same as gender or how a child feels inside or them identifying with something. Kids' minds change all the time. Y'all do know that, right? And I'm not saying this as somebody that's just out here. I'm saying this as somebody that works with kids. Particularly, I always talk about mentorship and how important and impactful and influential mentorship can be. I 100% believe in it, because I've seen kids' lives change. I've seen kids change as people from going into one environment into another, or having a person come into their life, or going to a new school, learning a new instrument, new hobbies. Kids change every day. I've personally seen, and I'm not saying the stories that I have seen are representative of an entire group. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is, when you have these stories that happen, it gives you new information to look at, so people aren't just making just very hasty, broad decisions, right? But I've seen people, change how they dress or how they present themselves, or, what they're into. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Because at this point, honestly, and I know it's gonna be somebody in here that's gonna be like, Rhonda, don't say that. But I think that we're at the point of no return. That's what I think. And as somebody who knows that LGBT people exist, that has LGBT friends, that knows that there are LGBT stories and lives and everything else. I'm not oblivious to that, right? I'm not oblivious to anybody's story or experience or anything like that. But when you are constantly being berated with imagery that just statistically doesn't make sense, when you have groups of people that can be so influential in ways that statistically doesn't make sense when it comes to Hollywood and getting people canceled and, just this and the other. Like, at some point, people just have to be like, it's no coincidence. Like, it's just no coincidence that all of this is happening at once and so quickly. It's no coincidence. And TV is literally called television programming. But I think, I don't know if y'all agree with me, but I think we're at, like, once you cross a certain point into things, it's no coming back. It's no coming back. And when you have people and parents that are not kind of setting some type of guidelines, my parents were the type of parents like, look, as long as you under my roof, you follow my rules. Now, when you get out, it's on you. You do what you want. It's your life, your body, or whatever else. You know what I mean? But there was some level of rules and morals and decorum and decency and even, kid appropriate decisions. Like, I had to even eat what my mama cooked. I couldn't, like, it was like, you eating this, so you ain't eating whatever. Now going into 2020, people will probably call that child abuse, right? Man, my mom used to make us eat so much vegetables we didn't like. People would literally probably call that child abuse now, because now every kid has to make up their own mind. They're their own people, which I do believe that you kind of have to, I am of the belief that you have to be attentive to your children and kind of see who they are as a person and kind of work within that. I don't believe in turning your children into little zombies or little puppets of you. That's certainly not, what I'm preaching. But parents still have parent type duties, and sometimes your children, children are children for a reason, and you're the parent for a reason. So, but I don't know. But I just thought this Hallmark thing and going back and forth, and their initial, they probably just was like, oh, this a group with 1 million people. They're trying to cancel us. We better hurry up and take this video down. And then Ellen DeGeneres comes out and she has a whole Twitter on her side. And they're like, oh, we need to put this back up. And so, but I would suggest y'all go ahead and start talking to your kids. They've made it to where when I was young, you could keep a level of innocence. You could keep a level of innocence and you didn't have to worry. You didn't have, we were just, we didn't have to worry. We were just living. We could just be kids. Life was just carefree and just, it was just a very innocent type of thing. But now it's getting to the point where you're being forced in a corner and you're going to be required to talk to your kids. Just like I said at the beginning of this video, if y'all were watching, when I told the story about the girl I was talking to about gun safety and stuff like that. If you want to keep your son safe, you have to talk to him. You have to be the one to do it, because if something happens whether that comes to even rape, molestation, when it comes to gun violence, all of this stuff, when it comes to predatory behavior, like when it comes to what they're doing online, they've made it so bad where everything is happening, everything is easily accessible. So you're going to have to talk to your kids to protect and prevent as much as you can. Nothing is 100% foolproof. I'm not gonna try to make it seem like it is, but if you are talking to your kids about these, we've gone too far across the line now, y'all. These conversations are unavoidable. I mean, they're just unavoidable at this point. So you have to prepare your kids as best that you can. Like, that's the only option at this point, because if you don't, they're just going to be out here in the world lost, just accepting whatever with no guidance of you. And you're thinking you're protecting them by not talking about it. You're not anymore. Not anymore. My parents could do that in my time when I was little, but not anymore. You can't do that anymore. Not talking about it is almost criminal, because if you don't, you are leaving your kids out here for predators and to just accept all of the programming. I mean, that's literally what it is. So I'm an advocate for that. Talk to your kids, prepare them for it all. I know people might say, oh, these are adult discussions, let kids be kids. You cannot do it anymore. You can't, because you don't have the privilege to. Because if you don't, the music is going to raise them. The TV is going to raise them. I'm letting y'all know, and I'm somebody with my ear to the streets, because I hear how these kids talk, some of the conversations they have. I'm telling y'all would be surprised, man. These kids, something else. And I'm talking about from the babies on up to the teenagers. They are something else. And even some of the things I've heard kids say in front of me, like I'm not just an adult. And I have to tell them, I don't want to hear that. Don't disrespect me. I don't know what y'all think this is. I'm cool, but I'm not that cool. And so sometimes it's an opportunity to talk to these children and see like where their head is at. Why do you think that's okay? Why are you into that? Why are you talking about that? But I'm telling y'all, it's a different world out here. That's so funny, man. I'm getting old. I'm like my mom. Y'all know when y'all used to hear y'all parents say little certain stuff, and it was just the mark of adulthood, like little certain stuff they would say. And now I'm finding myself saying those things, and I'm like, but all right, y'all. So I'm gonna hop off of here. Thank y'all so freaking much to everybody that super chatted, everybody that support me, everybody that's helping me on this journey to 9,000 and building my platform. Thank you for everybody that is a patron over at Patreon. If you are not, you see that link below. You can come on Patreon today for as low as $2, y'all. That's like a bag of chips. So but all right, y'all have a good night. Y'all have a good Tuesday, and hopefully I will be putting out some new videos later this week. All right, y'all, peace.